somebody comes for an interview that, they put their best foot forward. Problem is that's not the person who shows up every day, is it? For some reason, we think that that's, like, hey, the only time I'm supposed to bring my very best is in the interview, right? I don't ever want to hire anyone under that pretense, because I'm offering an opportunity in life. It used to be what your grandfather, your father did, you did. Why? Well, because they could teach you, right? They had proven that it worked. They had shown that you could, build, provide, take care of the tribe was, right? In modern society, really cool things, right? We brought into it, manufacturing. We brought into it, statistics, accounting, all these great stuff. And, you can go back quite a ways when that stuff started getting introduced. But as it was coming, they realized, hey, we need a different skill set. We need people that are intelligent and capable and able and can handle this stuff, right? So they developed universities. Right? You went off to college, and think about 200 years ago, right? I don't know how Harvard is at some of them, but Cambridge, even the oldest, they can only claim 400 or 500 years. We don't have institutions, that were there teaching people for thousands of years because there was no need. Does that make sense? Why would you send your kids from the farm off into, to Cambridge? It didn't make any sense. The fuck you gonna learn there that's gonna help you here, kid? Right? Stay here, learn this, help the family, right? Made sense. Well, as time went on, they went, okay, little by little, people started heading off that path. You went to college, you handed them money, they handed you this paper, and that piece of paper you were supposed to be able to take and do what with it? Transfer it for money. Correct? Right. I can go into the job market, I can show you my degree, and now I'm going to hire and pay you because of that. Make sense? You were supposed to be trained with certain skills, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Just like apprenticeship or mentorship or whatever you wanted to call it, lost its guidance or way or whatever, so is this. You know what I'm talking about? I got 5 kids, right? My children all know. You go to college, you want a degree, by all means, no problem, get a degree. But get one that will get you an ROA in 13 months. Meaning if it costs you $100,000 to go to school, you better make $100,000 in 13 months out of school. Otherwise, what you did is stupid. Right? It just was. You can't get a job that pays you $100,000 after paying $100,000. Well, what the hell did I do that for? That seems pretty dumb, right? And so we lose the, well, what'd you pay for? An experience? Dude, that was dumb. I guarantee you could have a lot better experiences on $25,000 a year just blowing it, right? Instead of going to a college to have an experience. You go there to get a piece of paper that translates to money. These systems are broken. They're ruined. All these dreams you have when you're, 18-year-old kid, right? None of that shit happened. But I literally left here 30 years ago. In my mind, I had to go to college, right? Because if you didn't go to college, how were you going to make any money? Well, then on top of it, like I said, nobody was teaching you a trade. My dad didn't come along and go, hey, this is how I did something. This is how you'll do it. And, you'll take over the family business in a way you go. That didn't happen, right? So without college and without a trade, you're pretty much what, guys? Fucked. I'm just giving you what it was 30 years ago. It doesn't look like that today, does it? Like today, it's almost kind of mockable. You guys can laugh at college, right? It wasn't like that 30 years ago. It was, idolized. And the degree would do something for you, right? Even then, it was still a lot more powerful than today. Well, lucky for me, an extremely ambitious person, I moved out to Colorado. My car broke down. I had to get a job that I could walk to. Dealership that was on the corner, about a mile and a half away from where I lived at the time, because I could walk there, right? I went in, dressed in the shirt and tie, and they told me to grab a seat, and I waited for 6.5 hours for a guy to come out and talk to me. It was literally 9:30 at night when he did. He comes out, he goes, "You're still here?" I said, "Yes, sir." You told me to wait, so I did, right? And he goes, "You ever thought about selling cars?" I thought, "No, sir." He goes, "I'll pay you $1,500 guaranteed for the first 2 months. You in?" Now, it's not the job I went for, right? I had no intentions of anything like that. I just, 18-year-old kid, 19, I guess, maybe at that point, I went, "Yep. We can throw you in with the sharks and we're going to find out what happens." Well, I was a wrestler. There's some very valuable things you'll learn in wrestling. Being the only white kid wrestling for the Exploradors in North Omaha also has some added advantages. Like, you became real fucking tough. I had that mindset and I was thrown in. They said, go. The next youngest guy was like 32 years old. I was fucking 19. And I went and whooped the fucking shit out of those guys, dude. I ran that place. I was the top salesperson for 2 years. By the time I was 21, they made me a team leader. By the time I was 25, my sales manager another 2 years, and then the general sales manager at 25. I was the general manager at 32. I was the managing partner at 34. Okay, I bought and sold 3 dealerships by the time I was 42. I went in and fixed them, built them into powerhouses, and then I sold them to huge corporations. What I had a unique ability of doing was building teams. I'm able to identify certain things in people, put teams together, put process, procedures together, and build shit that nobody else can do. Well, as I did that for almost 30 years, would build up a store, a huge corporation would come, they'd offer us stupid money for it, which is great, guys. That's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. That's an awesome place to be. However, you sell your baby, then it's gone, right? And it's theirs to do with what they please. And you know what they do to it? Bad things. Really sad, but hey, it's theirs now. They get to do what they want. Breaks my heart. I'm out, right? Plus, I watched the auto industry really change, and not for the better. Took away the opportunity for that person who didn't have an apprenticeship and didn't have a degree, right? But could still do what? Right? Sell to get paid. That was a career, right? And they said, hey, look, we get it. You didn't go to college, so you can do this, but it's going to be fucking hard. Okay, and like, what do you mean hard? It's not rocket science hard, but I mean, it's going to be, monotonous. It's going to be, there's going to be boredom, tiresome, irritation, oh, okay, I can deal with that. That wrestler mentality, right? It's pain was just, you're just suffering. That's what you did. That discipline, that mentality, it was just suffering, right? And I went, well, okay, so you're telling me if I'm able to suffer, I could make a lot of money. I'm like, how much is a lot of money? And well, guys, I've never made less than $100,000 since I was 19, and I've made well over $1 million a year for many, 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 many years, right? And I have no apprenticeship, and I have no degree. But what did I have? Willingness to work my fucking ass off. Well, guess what? Once I learned that, I started to teach that. When I say I built teams, that's how I built them. I built them with younger guys that had the same mentality. I hate fucking experience. You know what? I got 30 years experience. I'm betting you got 30 years experiencing 1 year 30 fucking times. You ever seen that guy? You know what I'm talking about? I'm not interested. I'm out. I decided, you know what? Life's kind of fucked me over. I don't know what you want to call it. Senior year, my parents, my dad and my stepmom moved to Michigan. Anybody their senior year want to go to Michigan? Right? Like you lived here in Omaha your whole life, and not just your, like halfway through it, like in January, they said, hey, we're going to Michigan. I went, and I was the first kid to have an apartment on his own. Thought I was pretty cool, right? Like literally, there was no added advantage. There was no college. There was no college fund. There was nothing, guys. When I say North Omaha, right? I don't know if you were busting or you live there, right? You know what I'm saying. Who doesn't, right? There's some parts in South, though, that aren't very nice. Omaha's got some rough places that people just don't believe. Hey, guess what? Nothing was given, so I took everything I could. Hey, you can have it all. You just have to be willing to work hard. What was taught was, hey, this is sales and marketing. This is closing. This is team building. This is how you run and manage. And so what did I teach? From on and on and on. Those same skill sets that did what? That developed me into a millionaire. Why wouldn't I teach the same thing? And you do it over and over and over and over again.